If you're tired of the endless search for the perfect flight, you've come to the right place. Today, we're sharing the ultimate guide to finding the perfect flight every time. We know how frustrating and time-consuming booking flights can be, as we've been doing it non-stop for the last year and a half during our around-the-world trip. That's why we want to share these 4 steps so that you can find the best option without going crazy during the process. First, you'll want to research airports for your destination. Often, it makes sense to just fly to the capital city, but depending on your travel plans, maybe an open jaw flight or just booking 2 separate tickets might also make sense for you. Personally, we really like to use a website called Flight Connections to check which airports we might want to consider and see direct flight routes. Let's say you are based in London and you want to travel to Florida. Here you can see super easily that there are actually direct flights to 3 airports in Florida. If you plan on doing a round trip to explore the whole peninsula, maybe you want to fly into Miami and out of Orlando. This is also nice to see other airports close to your home that might be options for your outbound flight, even if they are in another country. While we were living in Dresden, Germany, for example, it was usually a good option to fly from Prague in the Czech Republic. This is also amazing if you're not 100% sure about your destination, by the way. Another thing to consider beforehand are your flight dates. They can make a huge difference in prices. Good days to fly are during the week and Saturday, while Friday and Sunday are usually the most expensive options. Also, think about going slightly off-season. In many places, prices for flights can double during the summer holiday period or around Christmas. If you already have an idea about where to go but don't want to book yet, it might be worth saving an alert. You can do this, for example, with Google Flights or Skyscanner, so you will get an email with fare alerts. There's a couple options when it comes to search engines for flights. The most popular ones are Google Flights, Momondo, Kayak, and Skyscanner. We use Skyscanner the most, but this is just a personal preference and they are all pretty similar, so just use whatever you prefer. Once you have decided on where to go when, it's time to start looking for actual flights. Put in your destination and dates, and if you are flexible, tick those boxes. It'll start listing flights for you. Let's quickly go over what to pay attention to when going through that list. Departure and arrival time. Generally, the less convenient, the cheaper the flight. That doesn't mean you cannot book it, I just want you to consider it carefully. Are you able to make it to the airport 2 hours before departure? How can you get there in the middle of the night? And do you want to arrive at 2 a.m. in the morning in some Latin American city? Duration. How long is the overall travel time? The longer, the cheaper. Transfers. Sadly, more transfers also often results in a cheaper fare. However, a transfer can also be quite stressful, so consider carefully if it is worth the savings. If you go for a flight with a transfer, make sure that the transfer time is adequate. That means at least 1 hour for smaller airports and 2 hours for bigger ones. Sometimes you will also see this. That means that your flights are booked separately. If your first flight is late for whatever reason and you miss the second one, you will get no compensations as you book this connection at your own risk. Honestly, avoid it completely if you can, but if not, make sure you really have adequate transfer time. You will have to leave the first airport, pick up your luggage, potentially even change from a national to the international terminal or change to another airport in the same city. Then do the whole check-in procedure again and go through security and immigration. And that's why you want a big time buffer here. Airlines. Okay, we all know that there are better airlines and, well, more affordable ones. And honestly, it's fine to book with budget airlines. Just be aware that you will need to bring your own water and food and entertainment. But please do not book with any airlines that are blacklisted. You want your airline to at least comply with certain safety standards. The European Union, for example, publishes a list with banned airlines, and personally, we would avoid these completely. By the way, if you found this video helpful so far, you might want to consider the subscribe button that is somewhere here. Let's say you found a connection you like, but should you book it right away? In our opinion, yes. I feel like there are so many myths going around regarding when to book your flight. Like, you should do it at 4 a.m. on a Tuesday, 46 days prior to departure. or something like that. But the truth is that airlines use algorithms to determine the demand for a flight. So really, there will never be a golden rule for the best booking time. Unless you are researching your flight a year in advance, prices have, in our experience, rarely gone down. So if you have a flight you like and the price seems reasonable, then go ahead and book it. With that being said, if you would like to use a tool for predicting when to book your flight, Hopper might be an option for you. They go through historical data and are apparently pretty accurate at predicting the development of flight prices. Okay, let's do it. You've found your flight and you want to book it, but where? Search engines like Google Flights or Skyscanner will only show you options for flights. In order to make a booking, you will need to go elsewhere. This is what it usually looks like. One more important thing here, you want to book directly through the airline. It might be a little more expensive, but it'll save you some headache in case anything goes wrong with your flight, or you need to change your booking. We have personally experienced this as well when we went to Costa Rica a couple years ago. There were issues with our transfer, and the airline and the third-party website we had booked through were just playing ping pong with the issue, and no one felt responsible to help us with anything. While going through the booking process, the price will most likely go up. This is by now the case with almost any airline, as even the good ones rarely include luggage in their fares. So consider carefully how much luggage you really need and say no to everything else. You don't need additional baggage loss insurance or whatever it is they want to sell you today. I also quickly wanted to mention a couple hacks and tricks for making your booking. VPNs. Using a VPN will allow you to virtually change your location to another country, which might result in a lower ticket price, as some airlines adjust their prices depending on where you make your booking from. We've tried this a couple times and it was never successful, but if you have a VPN anyway, check it out. Cookies. Airlines can track your interest in a certain flight by leaving cookies on your device and adjust the price accordingly. They could, for example, show you a higher price to make you think that the prices are going up and that you should book now. Deleting cookies can help solve this problem. Although, to be honest, I have only seen this work once or twice, but it doesn't cost you anything, so why not try it? Using incognito mode might also help. And then once you've checked everything, you have found your perfect flight and you can go ahead and make the booking. If you're interested in more travel tips, you might want to check out this video next, where we share 10 surprising lessons from traveling the world for 1.5 years, and we'll see you real soon.